Awesome.
Hi.
Add it up.
Here we go, boys and girls. We are back for another exciting episode of the Book Asylum podcast. I'm trying to make something of a dramatic return. Had a little issue a couple weeks ago. Still dealing with a lot to do with that, but I don't think I've ever missed two shows in a row. We're not going to start that trend now. This week, I am so excited for the guests that we have because it's not every show where you get to talk to someone from the land down under, mate. So, me, Kristen Vincent, Anthony, the Bad Wabbit Castro, Angel frickin' Ramon, Doc Freed, we welcome and give to you Aurora Kelly. How are you doing today?
I'm awake. It's 6 a.m. here, so.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for coming on with us, even at the, the bright and shiny morning time over there. But let's get right on into this. What got you inspired to write? How long have you been doing it?
So I've been published since 2020, but always wanted to write, just life got in the way. And then I used to work in acute mental health as a nursing assistant. So I just say nursing because everyone knows what that is. And I got attacked. And then, so while I was off recuperating, I wrote a book. And then I got attacked. I went back to work, got attacked again, and was deemed unable to return and do that again. So my husband's like, why don't you just write? And so to give myself something to do, because not only do I have the back injuries, but I have quite a bit of PTSD as well, and anxiety and stuff. So to occupy myself, that's my therapy. And so that's what I write. And I write nice, fun, tearful stuff.
All right. When you first got really into this, what was the hardest thing for you to get used to understand in the whole process? Because it's one thing to sit and just write, but then there's everything that goes after it.
Oh, isn't there ever? I guess it's writing something that really holds the attention of someone else. So they keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some, I call them my passion projects. I wrote some contemporaries, and they don't do anything, but they just sit there. But they were what I cut my teeth on. And now I write historical romance.
Yes.
So
I love the research.
What is your favorite era in history to write in?
Good question.
Yeah, so I write in the 1800s, set in America, Montana specifically. It is a state.
Oh, Montana.
Yeah, I know. I laughed at that. That has gone through a lot of change from the get-go, and I found that very, very interesting.
So, how much time did you spend researching, Kenny?
So it depends what I'm looking at. I've done a little bit on trains, like how they all connected, come from the east, come from the west, and then sort of ended up in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I had to research the Civil War over there, so I know a little bit about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know how Montana actually came to be a territory and then a state.
Yeah.
And normally to be a territory is a long process. It actually takes a few years. But Montana was like, bang, like that. So the president at the time, because of the Civil War, they had the gold rush at the bottom of Montana. And the gold was going down south to the troops down there, and he was not having any of that. And he went, right, I'm going to create a state, and that gold's going to come up north for our northern soldiers, and bang, you had the Montana Territory.
Wow.
Yeah, very good. So Aurora, so you're from Australia, so do you have problems fitting in with the American slang words and all that, and making sure that you fit in with the American way of speaking, that you don't mix it in with your slang out there?
So I have one thing I've really noticed that's different is that bench and counter
Hmm.
supper and dinner. They're not the same
Right.
meal. But I do have an American proofreader, and she goes
Very
through.
okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
she goes and
Very
makes
good.
sure that I haven't missed anything, and it's just like little spelling changes. So like we have S's in like realize and socialize and stuff, and you guys have Z's or Z's, and so
Mhm.
she makes sure that
Right,
they're
right.
all
Mhm.
on the up and up. So I have to be all over that.
Yeah. I mean, I actually, because I think it's really cool that somebody from the land on down under is writing American fiction. I think it's cool as heck. I mean,
Yeah, it's really neat.
yeah, that's
There's
really
a
awesome.
few. Yeah,
I
there's a
wouldn't
few
even
authors.
try to attempt to write
But
anything in Australia or
yeah,
England or anything because every single British person would sound like a corny Bond villain, and it would just be terrible. And so, I
not to,
wouldn't even try it. But that's
yeah, not
great
to
that you can
mention,
do
yeah,
that.
not to mention some British and Australian words are totally different as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you're going into a whole other can of worms.
Well, yeah. I mean, you guys say we're going to root for you a lot. That's not what it means over here.
Okay,
Yeah,
what does it
unfortunately.
You
mean
gotta know
over
now.
there?
Yeah, now we know. Thank you for letting us know. Now I feel guilty.
It means having sex.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
will
So
I
when
will
I
keep
see that, a few people have said, "Oh, just root for us," and I'm like, "Dude, no, no,
Oh Lord.
I'll
Well,
kick
Oh,
you
in
out."
America, it's innocent, but in Australia, yeah,
I don't know. I might use it a lot more now.
uh
Have you ever thought about writing in different genres?
Genres, yes. So would make my teenage son very happy if I finished the book that I've started writing in post-apoc.
okay,
So
well, we're kind of going like, okay, so do you plan on finishing the
yeah,
post-apoc?
I
yes.
do, I do. But my teenage, so I've got 2 chapters written so far. And every time he comes home and I'm writing one of my historical romances or I'm researching something for that, he's like, "What are you writing?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just this." He's like, "Listen, woman, write the post-apoc book. I want to read it."
Well, we
So
do too.
what about the romance genre captivates you in the sense that that's what you like to do so much?
Um,
I've
I
never
guess
read a romance in my life.
Yeah, I fuck at romance.
I guess because it's in everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I write happily ever after specifically. Um, so I just like how it's just in everything, and it doesn't. You can change what it is. You can take it from this setting and whack it in that setting. And it's all about the story for people. It's all about the characters. It's a very character driven
Yeah. I was
genre.
gonna say.
Yeah, it's actually depending on who you're reading in the post-apoc genre, a lot of them are very character driven too, and I love that.
Hmm.
So
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 is your
basic,
post-apocalyptic book going to be a romance based in that genre?
I don't know. I have devoured pretty much all of the romance ones that I have found. So if I've
Uh-huh.
missed one, I'm all for that. My teenager's like, "Please don't make it a kissy one," and I'm like,
He's like, no, just stop right there.
yeah, cut it. No,
"Not a kissy one," but I don't write steamy. I write what my husband calls diet romance.
Oh Lord.
basically sweet romance.
Okay, because see that brings me to the question that I was going to ask you, and this is based on something that Kristen had sent me a while back, some stuff she was writing, and I'm talking like sweat beads were forming across my
Oh,
forehead. Like
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa, girl, have you written anything to where even you kind of leaned back from the computer and went, wow?
she blushes.
So I haven't even attempted. Well, no, that's not true. I did
Ah,
attempt to write
gotta.
a scene, and I was like, "This sounds so crap." It sounded I was like, I
Mhm.
can't do this. I just can't. So I don't write them. A friend of mine down in Cooma said I sent her one of my books to read for me just to see what she thought, and she wrote back and goes, "Where's the steam?" And I'm like,
Mm.
"What are you talking about?" She goes, "Well, there's no sex in that book, and I need that." And I went, "Well, you're not my reader."
That's the thing
So,
that just blows me away about romance writers that can write that stuff. It's like,
yeah,
man, I get squeamish even thinking about doing the real deal, let alone sitting there trying to write it out blow by blow.
Yeah.
Like this is what's
Mhm.
going down now.
This is what's going down, baby.
Don't know how she got her leg back there, but there it is.
There you go.
So
Sometimes it's
yeah,
better just to fade to black or to gray
yes,
or
yes,
whatever. And
yes.
leave it to their imagination what happened.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I do. I have to be careful though, because there are certain levels in the clean and closed door. So they're
Mhm.
two different levels as
Mhm.
well. So some readers don't read closed door because it's got swearing in it, or they've had some passionate kissing. And there are other readers that don't read clean because there's nothing
There's nothing there, really.
yeah,
passionate.
Yeah.
yeah. Nothing
Yeah,
risque.
yeah,
I
nothing
guess it all
risque.
depends
So
on your level of comfortability with that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. And I guess, I don't know, it'd be weird to try and write that stuff while my kids are around. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing to think about. Yes. So,
yeah,
Aurora,
especially, yep.
so I wanted to ask you. You said you write character-driven stories. So would you classify your stories as literary fiction as well?
I have to say, I've never thought about that because so probably, but it's just so the difference. Here's an example. Nicholas Sparks writes women's lit. Yeah, he writes women's lit. I think that's what it's called, because his aren't actual romances. They're they're a story that's got romantic elements, and
Right.
so that's one thing I had to learn
Hmm.
when I started. Yeah, that a romance has to have a happily ever after or a happily for now. And if it
Yes.
doesn't have that, if the two characters don't end up together at the end of the book and they're very
Yeah,
happy
Romeo
together,
and Juliet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
um, then it's not a romance. It's a women's lit with romantic elements. And I didn't understand that from the get-go. But I wasn't right. I was writing romance from the get-go, so it was okay.
Yeah, Nicholas Sparks, like I have like every single one of his books, and I was very fortunate to be able to go to a book signing of his when he was in Nashville and
Oh
got to meet
wow.
him and everything, and oh my gosh, like dream come true. Um, and I think like for me, like that's really what really got me into the romance genre and everything, and I need more.
Um, so there is an Australian author who writes post-apocalyptic romance, and I've read her stuff and I really like it. Her name's Jacqueline Haley, and she's got
Kristen's
series
going to
now.
jot that down. She's jotting it down. It's like, hang on, give me that name.
It's Haley, if you're curious. But yeah, so and it's funny because she only lives near my dad, like she's an hour from where he is. So it's like, oh, we've got to meet when I'm out that way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe on your return appearance on the show someday, you can go bring her too.
Well, they should all just catch up with me next summer for you, Aurora,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when I go home. Because I'll be over in Oz probably most of January and February. That's my current plan.
Oh my gosh, where are you going to be?
Well, my all my relatives live either in Sydney or around Sydney or Brizzy, but I'm actually a Northern Territorian.
Oh
Mm,
wow,
Yeah.
okay.
you're used to the crocodiles then.
No, I'm more the desert type, but yeah, the
Okay.
freshies I see more freshies than I see the salties. I'm not up at the top end.
She used to wrestle
Well,
them.
I'm down toward I'm actually south and west of Alice.
oh wow.
So
Yeah.
I'm out by the spy station. If, okay, she knows what I'm talking about. Yep.
Mhm.
All right, we got a little meet and greet we could have going up there
Yeah,
next
There
year.
you go.
sure. I was
Right?
gonna say, let me know. Well, I'm only 2.5 hours from Sydney, so
Yeah. You're in it said I looked you up and it said you're in Crookwell.
yes. So
Yeah.
we're half an hour from Goulburn, whereas our massive supermax prison is there. So
Yeah.
if everyone will look that up, that's pretty interesting. Actually, that's got some interesting history.
Yeah.
Very neat. I just love stuff like that. You know, we've got an old prison in Nashville that it's not a prison anymore. It's just the body of it. And every year for Halloween, it gets turned into a haunted prison. So you actually get to go through a legitimate prison that's all set up like a haunted house. So that's
And
that's
another
pretty
thing
neat.
about the prison is the Green Mile was filmed there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I love that movie.
I do too.
Sure was.
But yeah, and it's also I know a lot of people don't do the whole paranormal stuff, but it's actually haunted. So pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I've seen it on many shows.
Yep.
I follow those shows religiously, so I know what you're talking about. It's a really interesting place.
I'm gonna
Well,
have to look that up. Is that what
well,
you're
right
doing
now,
now?
I was going to say Matt Damon's watching. Matt, it's Matt Damon, the other one, the other Matt Damon.
Hey, man.
I say we've really gotten mainstream there. If Matt
Oh yeah,
Damon
big time.
watching.
We're big time
Yeah,
out here now. But Doc's not in Australia right now, but she will be in Australia. January, February next year. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
let me know.
I will.
Let's make
I
that
will.
happen.
Yeah.
Let's
now,
make that
definitely.
well, now that I got Doc on my mind here, which I keep Doc on my mind a lot, honestly. Do you do all of your own editing, or do you have someone that handles the like full blown editing for you?
So I do a couple of passes and then I send it on to someone else.
Okay.
And not so I didn't do that in my earlier stuff because I couldn't afford to. But I've actually just sent her my first book, my first contemporary, because they don't sell, but I'm like, I still love those stories. So I just sent her my first book and she's going to do a pass through them and then tell me if there's anything that I need to fix. And I'm sure, I mean, I had a quick glance and went, oh, I don't want to send it. It's so full of telling and whatever else. But my writing has just gotten better and better. I mean, like everybody,
Nice.
if you don't do it, you're not going to get better. And if you don't look
Yes,
at your older stuff,
exactly.
yeah, if you don't look at your older stuff and see that you've gotten better, what are you doing?
Yep.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Thank you. Yeah, but very good.
Yep.
It's true, though. It's true.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly how I look at it. So I have a lot of craft books, and one of my goals this year is 208 hours of learning, which I know is ambitious, but I am going to a conference in August in Adelaide.
Okay.
There's a Romance Writers Australia do a huge conference in August every year, but in a different state. And last year they were in Sydney, and I didn't get to go because all this stuff happened. My husband's surgery being one of them. But this year, because my birthday's in August and his birthday's in August, we're like 13 days apart from each other. So, and that weekend in between our birthdays, we're going to go away and have like a little mini. Well, it's not going to be a holiday for me, but I don't know what he's going to do for 3 days. But I'm going to be networking.
That's the ticket right there. That's a big part of it, is getting out there, shaking hands, or, kissing babies and shaking hands and doing the whole 9 yards, so everybody knows who you are.
That's right.
Now, one thing I'm curious about is, do you ever like get on with any other author friends and like write together, like do like the sprints or anything like that? Oh, cool.
Yep. So Bailey Higgins, you guys know who she is?
Oh, yes. She's been on this show a time or two.
Love her stuff. And she's in South Africa. See? Got that right?
That's it.
Yep.
Well, we sprint in my evenings and her mornings. So at about 8 o'clock at night, my time, after dinner and the kids and that go to bed, I get on and I try and do like a couple of hours of sprints with her, and then I go to bed, and then I get up in the morning and I sprint with another lady. I think she's in Florida. She writes romance though.
Hmm.
So, and then sometimes if I'm lucky, there is a writing sprint group on Facebook. And sometimes if there's no one else around, I jump in there. Otherwise, I do get on Discord and use the sprint bot. It just all keeps me in check. So make sure I'm hitting my word goals. I'm always keen to like just do it with someone else, you know?
Yeah. And so that seems to help you stay motivated because it's like, okay, they're over there writing. I guess I better be. And it just kind of pushes you. Okay. See, I hadn't actually thought to do that before, but I know people that do that. And I've been like, maybe that's something I should try. So now you got me thinking that maybe next time Kristen's down in a heavy writing session, I'll just ring her up and then we'll just sit there and not talk to each other. We'll just listen to each other click on our keyboards.
Yeah. Yep. And another thing, what are, I guess, when you are writing, do you have an outline or anything that you do, or do you just kind of just start writing?
So I plan it a little bit. I make sure I know who my two main characters are, at least by name and something. So she might be from New York City. He might be on a ranch in Montana, you know, that he started, all that sort of stuff. And then I go from there. And the next thing I know, you know, she's turning up with 4 siblings. And, well, dude wasn't expecting that because his sister organized that.
Okay.
So I know where I'm going to start and where I'm going to end, and that's it. And then I just have to fill in the blanks in the middle.
Yeah. That's
I have tried plotting. It just doesn't work for me.
Okay, well, let me ask you, what has been the most inconvenient, unfortunate place you have ever found yourself and had a great idea and no way to jot it down?
Inconvenient. I don't think I've ever really had an inconvenient place in my mind. I guess so. This is years ago, and I write a little bit of poetry as well. And I remember being in the car with my dad's then girlfriend, and these words just kept coming and coming, and they were churning away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to write this down. If I said to my dad's girlfriend, I'm like, okay, there's a pen down there on the floor somewhere. Grab a scrap piece of paper and write this down. And I'm like dictating to her as I'm driving along the highway doing, 110 kilometers an hour. And she's like, oh. And then she's trying to read it back to me. And I'm like, have you got the right words? Because they were there. I don't know if that's inconvenient, but it was. Like, if she hadn't been there, I would have had to have pulled over, and I was on a deadline. So
yeah, because I've had occasions like that where I'll be driving to work. It's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm half asleep, and all of a sudden, 2 of my characters will start having a conversation, and I'm like, not now. Don't do this right now. We can't do this right now. It's like, at least let me get to work.
Yeah, sometimes I lay there at night and I'll have like these thoughts for like Bad Wabbit and like scenes and dialogue and all that, and I'm like way too tired to get up and write it down. So I just try to remember the next day, but sometimes it's just right.
It's hit or miss. Yep. It's like I've had several where by the time I'd get to work, it's done completely 180'd what I was originally thinking because I couldn't remember everything that I was thinking. It's like just the stuff that writers go through that I didn't know anything about until I started interviewing writers and then got like my arm twisted into being a writer. And so it's crazy what goes on between the ears of a writer. It's insane.
I think it's very cool that when you get those kind of random ideas, the ones that stick, I think, are the ones that are going to be the best because, you don't remember the nonsense that, is okay, whatever that was, but when when you keep coming back to it, that's the stuff you write down. That's the stuff that keeps, sticks to the bones.
Oh, for sure. For sure. The other place that it's happened was we were traveling out to see my dad. He lives at Tullamore. And we stopped at the McDonald's at Cowra, and there was the girl that served us, where we got coffee from, she was so chirpy, and everything about her was just so lovely and wholesome. And I'm like sitting on my phone and I'm like tapping out notes real quick. My husband's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm writing notes. Hurry up, stop talking to me."
Hey, now you refer to her as being chirpy, so I take that that's like a compliment over there. Because over here, if you refer to someone as being chirpy, they're being mouthy. They're
they
like a
talk too
bird that
much.
won't like a bird that won't stop chirping. You know, so how about that? There's
No.
another one of those
But
completely
now,
different.
Well,
But
see, mouthy,
chirpy over there means cheery, I guess. Like very cheery.
yes, it does.
See that? There you go, Jack. Yep.
And happy. Mouthy over here means they're mouthing off, like as in they're yelling abuse and they're just in your face, and you're like, "Oh my god."
That's chirpy here.
Yep.
Oh, okay,
So-
right. There you go.
Yeah, like the thing we learned about during the pre-show about if we say to you, "Man, I'm rooting for you," it's like
Yeah.
that doesn't mean the
so.
same thing
Yeah,
over there
let's just say it's sexual in nature.
in nature.
That's all we're gonna
Absolutely.
leave it as.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it's
is
not the
funny.
same thing. So I always say
It
when I
is.
say that, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cheer for you, though.
Yeah.
Well, as our show is known to do, it can get a little squirrely at times, and some of the questions might just seem as off the wall as anything else. But
A wee bit
What-
squirrely. Ooh.
nah, never.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't mind people rooting for me either way. So, you know.
Okay, what is the opinion? Oh Lord, I don't want that in my head. I don't want that in my head. Get that out of my head.
Yes, stop
Blah, blah,
Anthony.
blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm gonna have to bleach my eyes now.
I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
Goodness. Oh goodness.
Oh, Anthony, I can't unsee that.
Dan's
now.
not here. I
You're
gotta
Dan
make
very
up
well
slack.
behaved today. Trust me.
Yeah, somebody's got to make up for Dan's absence.
Yeah, right.
It's truth. It's truth. You know, you should have seen him last week.
Oh boy, and I wasn't around for that one.
I'm
So
going to have
what-
to go and watch the ones that I've missed, because I have seen a couple of sessions, but I think I was doing stuff, so it was like in the background. I'm going to have to go back and watch some of these sessions now.
Cool. Well, they all do get posted to YouTube, so you just look for the Book Asylum on YouTube, subscribe, like, rate, review, all that good stuff,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
go from there. But the
They
off
are
the wall,
all unique.
yeah, the off the wall question I had for you was,
Yeah.
what is the opinion of the folks over there of the old movies Crocodile Dundee?
Ugh.
Oh boy.
So that's a classic here, but I didn't know until I watched the video on YouTube that it actually is based on a real man.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that till last year.
It's pretty freaking cool.
hmm
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, but I think it's really sad how he ended up.
I don't think I know that.
I'll
No.
find the video and I will send it to Jack and Angel, and they can forward it to you. It's on YouTube. It's pretty sad about his life. Yeah.
Mm.
What ended
I've
up
heard of
happening.
Crocodile Dundee. I've heard of him. Yes, I've known. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul Hogan is who
Oh,
played him.
yes. hmm
Oh, the actor, yes.
Yes.
But
So-
he based Crocodile Dundee on a real man.
Yeah,
and
Rod
never know-
Ansel.
Yeah, and how he ended up was really sad. So
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, when you send that to me, I'm gonna immediately check it out because I didn't know he had a bad ending. Other than the movies, I didn't really think much about it being based on a real person either. I just love the movies.
yeah,
the-
so,
Anyway,
same here.
hey Jack. Meanwhile, we got Lee Edwards watching, and he says,
Oh,
"There's a
no.
whole lot of ugly on my screen, but it's also so very pretty."
I think
Oh,
I know
he's
who the
referring
uglies
to us,
are.
Jack.
Yeah, I
That
do
were
believe
ugly.
you would be right. Yeah, yeah, and Nick Scarborough, he actually said that he's run into those situations too when an idea pops in at just the worst possible time, and there's nothing, you have nowhere to write it. You're like you said, you're driving, and you're just like, what do I do? Of course, now with these new like smart cars that we have nowadays, a lot of people could just be like,
Yeah.
either talk to the car or talk to their phone or whatever. And that just hit me. I never think to do that, even though my phone is always right there in the holder.
I need to keep a pen and paper next to my toilet. That's where I get my most inspiration.
Wow.
Yeah, like yeah, you gotta keep some paper there, man.
Well, that certainly explains Bad Bunny.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Bad
question:
rabbit. Yeah.
what
Yep.
what
Yep.
inspires your writing?
So a lot of it is based on characters that have second chances at romance. So as a kid growing up, I was always like, my goal is to be a writer and be a wife and a mother. And that's all I really wanted to do, to be honest. And I got married quite young the first time. And that marriage ended. And then I waited a long time, got married again, and went, oh, I'm doing the wrong thing here. then I decided after a couple of years I was single again, and I decided, okay, that's it, I'm done. I'm going to be that old lady that that
With
just
10
lives on her
cats.
own, and
Yeah, crazy cat
where
lady.
we had 4. So
Yeah, 4.
there
That's
we had
that's just
4.
a starter. That's a starter kit. You got to have
That's
10
the
to
starter
12.
pack here, man. You gotta go 20 cats. That's the real deal.
Oh gosh, no. I have 6
And
animals total.
yeah,
And
we have 6 as well.
I have 6.
Total.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough, I have to say. But then I met my now husband just randomly out one night, and
He wasn't hiding behind a bush, was he?
no. And it's funny, you hear those stories of people that go, they met that person and they just knew.
Yeah.
We shook hands with each other and we went, oh my God, it's you, at the same time.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That see? And so we actually spent 3 or 4 months getting to know each other before anything developed as well. And I don't know whether that really contributed to it, but we were friends before anything else. And he supports all of this. So, but I mean, I support stuff he does too, like his crazy wanting to go into tournaments. But yeah, it's just, do you know what I mean? So I write what I hope I'm writing actually is a love story like that, where people come together and they realize that, holy crap, this is it. Because I always believed I was going to have it, but after 2 times of not having it, it was like, yeah, okay, I'm getting a little bit cynical now. And then finally I met the person, but he's the same with me, and we got married 18 months after we met.
Okay.
We got engaged a year after we met, and then 18 months after that, we got married.
Okay, so you didn't rush into. You didn't rush. That was good.
No,
yeah,
no.
you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Yeah, she did it the right way.
Yeah, and so at the end of February this year, we've been married 6 years, and we've both got a history without each other, but coming together, we just meld together so well that I just, so I know it's real. That thing where you go, oh, I've met the right person. And it's funny because I kept him a secret from my friends for a long time. So when I was sort of said, oh, we're going to move in together, they're like, oh my gosh, are you sure? Like, this is really sudden. And I'm like, it's not sudden. So I write that element of it, that I've met the right person and it's finally happened. Because I was becoming, very, well, it's never going to happen. I'm just meeting idiots.
Well, there's a lot of them.
I wanted to ask you, does your husband read your books?
He's not a reader per se, but if I'm reading or writing and there's a sentence that I'm struggling with, I go to him and I go, listen, and I read it out to him, and then he will say, oh, okay, maybe this is what you're doing wrong. And I will.
Oh, okay.
He is such a good listener, which everybody should be in a partnership.
Should be.
Should be.
Should be, because I've had 2 partnerships where it just wasn't like that at all.
I need to find me one of those.
But he does, like, we'll be on a trip somewhere, like going out to see my dad or going to Sydney or even just going to the next town over, and I'll be talking to him about my books. So he knows all about them. And I do know when I first started writing, and the feedback was, there's no sex in your books. You need that steam element. And I said to him, I just don't think I can write that. And he just, ever the way he just goes, well, don't write it.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
If
There
it's
you
not,
go.
if it doesn't come naturally, I don't do it.
Yeah.
If it's not, if it's something I have to force, I won't even put it on paper.
Well, it seems like most readers can pick up on that. Like if they're reading something, they're like, they really had to push hard to get this wedged in here, and it just doesn't, like you said, doesn't feel natural, and that could hurt your story more than anything.
Yeah, believe it or not, readers have a special talent of doing that. Believe me, I've seen that firsthand. Because with my new Pina Coladas and Rat series, everybody loved it because it felt natural.
Yeah,
it was
You
enforced.
find that so naturally too, though. Like you were online and you're like, "Oh, I've just written this book," and you vomited it on the page.
It helps that it helps that it happened on the island that I live in. I didn't have to research nothing. I just said, yeah, I know everything about Puerto Rico, so let's have fun with it.
Yeah, that would help.
It's in my red list.
Yeah, and it did help that Anthony does show up in a cameo Bad Rabbit comic. Just so happens to be on an island.
Awesome.
Okay.
And it is on an island. Anthony, I do have your comic book here, so that's not totally false,
True. I mean,
quick comment from
it's international at this point.
There you go, right?
Nick Scarborough says that sometimes the person who doesn't enjoy reading makes a very good critic. So guess maybe that's where the husband comes in. He's not much of a reader, but
that's an interesting way to look at it.
Are you on Audible?
No. So I don't have any of my books are strictly just ebooks on Amazon at the minute.
Okay.
But my goal for this year is to get paperbacks out. So finally, because I'm gonna have to send you one. Because lots of people have been saying to me, like, where's your paperback? I want that. And I'm like,
Are you gonna publish it on Amazon?
It will be. So I'm gonna go through Ingham Spark first.
I mean, I always want to send you a book, Kenny, but man, it's just criminal. The shipping rates to Australia is just criminal.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's not just that. Then you got to fill out a customs form, and I just don't got the patience for it.
That's wild.
Look, I'm happy to pay for postage because postage is insane in Australia.
Yeah, I know. It still sucks. It still sucks for you guys. I mean, I know it's really hard for you guys to get paperbacks out there.
Yeah, I cheated.
You can just give them to me next year, and when I'm over there, and I'll bring them back with me, and I'll post them here.
Yeah, do that. I'm just thinking about
because I bring paperbacks over and books over for people there. I bring a whole duffel full over as one of my cases.
Okay.
And then I bring back stuff for people.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, heck yeah.
Take back Tim Tams? Do you take back Tim Tams?
Oh no, we can get them here in the States now.
Oh,
what in the hell are Tim Tams?
Oh, they're brilliant. They're like chocolate covered double chocks. Yeah, it's like chocolate covered chocolate cookies with filling in betwixt. So think of an Oreo covered in chocolate.
We have those. Oh yeah. I like the sound of that. That sounds like a Jack food.
Oh, they've got it. They've got regulars. They've got them with chocolate in betwixt the cookies. They've got them with caramel in betwixt them. Yeah, I get them.
White chocolate.
And oh, wait a minute. Well, you'll appreciate. Oh, I already pulled my tea bag. Hang on a minute.
Oh boy. Show and tell time with Doc.
Yep. Show and tell.
That's my tea.
Oh my gosh, bushels. Narada is actually, if I'm going to drink an Australian tea, I drink Narada.
No, I love Bush because you can do anything you want with this. You can put milk or sugar or lemon.
Same with Narada.
Yes, but I can actually get this here in this. That's the other thing.
There's the advantage.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I get
Has
it?
anybody ever heard of Rudamaya coffee?
Sounds
No.
vaguely
I
familiar.
haven't heard of that one. Is
Okay.
it a name brand or a type of coffee?
It's a name brand, I believe. I just discovered it this last weekend out at the ranch we went to stay at. The guy brought me a cup of black coffee, and it was so good. It didn't need sugar or cream. It was just the best cup of coffee. And I asked him what it is, and he said it's called Rudamaya.
What am I?
So
I'm
that
gonna be
can you get that in the States?
yeah,
The
yeah.
Ru-
Yeah, these or
Tim
the
Tam?
coffee.
Oh,
Oh,
that's bad.
I need some.
Yeah, I
And
need to get
dip
some
it-
of that.
Oh, they're
So-
brilliant.
Yeah, so
brilliant.
bite a little bit off the corner, dip it into your coffee or your tea or your hot chocolate, suck the liquid up
Or
through
just
it,
your milk.
and then
Yep.
shove it straight in your mouth because it will fall apart.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, you can't imagine they are just so.
Moorish.
Yeah, when I actually got COVID, I lived off of Tim Tams and Bushels. I mean, that's what for like 5 days straight. It was like it made me feel so just heaps and heaps better. It was just lovely.
So there's 9 in a pack, and before you know it, you can
They're
eat
gone.
6.
They're gone. Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna have to find these because I need that in my life. I've got to have that in my life. That just sounds
Amazon.
delicious.
Yeah.
She found them.
Yep.
Oh, it's on Amazon, huh?
On
Okay.
Amazon.
Except here we get 12 to a pack.
Oh,
Yeah, we get 12.
wow.
I know. But I'm trying to think. South, Safeways, Vons, Ralph's. It's not the Kroger chain, it's the other big chain in the US. They actually may have these because I actually get them at my Safeway, and they're cheap.
wow.
Tim Tam.
They're like $3 a pack.
Oh wow.
This
So
is a
the-
family pack. And it looks like it comes like in the size of Oreo packs.
Yeah, I think
I
there's
see
like
that.
18.
Yeah, might
In
be.
Australia, there's 18 of those. That's
Yeah.
so, but they only come in that size in the original. And if you want to get Arnott's also do a mint slice, it's really nice.
Wow.
We're going to sit here and have Tim Tam trending here just any minute now.
Yep. Sounds about
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, most popular cookie in the States for the next few weeks because everybody's like, I've got to get the Tim Tam.
I gotta get the Tim
Oh,
Tams.
so good.
And it sounds so catchy too.
It does.
So
All right, well,
my favorite Tim Tam is the double choc and the white.
ooh, that would be good.
I'm getting me some caramel right now.
Yeah, she's like, I got to
The
get these.
salted caramel is really good.
Oh my
Who's getting
God.
their house built?
Yeah, that's me. That's my father. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. We got work in my house. I'm sorry about that. It's been like this the whole week. Sheesh.
Yeah, redoing the kitchen.
Yeah,
Yep.
but- Sounds
All right,
fun.
I would be completely remiss if I didn't ask you a very Australia-based question.
Okay.
What is the scariest non-human interaction you have had living over there? Whether it be a croc, whether it be a spider the size of a Volkswagen, whatever it may be. What is the scariest thing you've encountered?
So
Now she's having to think about it is what makes it even scarier. She's got like a top 10 list and she's like, okay, well,
I didn't think about that. So
the whole country will kill you.
so I don't think I've had any scary encounters, but I had a real heart-stopping one. This is like 20 years ago now, you got to remember. So our kangaroos will drown you if you come into a body of water. If you come across a body of water and you see a kangaroo just sitting there, like how you doing, don't get in that water because they will drown you.
What about
Yeah.
the spiders though? Like I've heard the spiders and
Well, actually, they just found in Newcastle, where one of my sisters lives, they just found the largest funnel web spider ever. By far, almost twice the size of what they normally are, which is great news because they can extract a lot of anti-venom from them. And because he's such a bigger spider than what they're used to catching, my husband says they can create a better anti-venom just because his will be so potent. But he's massive. But so I think there have been a couple of encounters of them in Goulburn, where I used to live, which is only half an hour away. But I haven't had any here, thankfully. But I call them the armored spider, which people find a bit crazy because their exterior is quite strong.
So if you step on one, it might actually walk away from it.
Yeah, you're not hitting it with a slipper.
Well, it might actually get you through the bottom of your foot.
What?
I don't plan on coming to Australia.
Doc, you might. Have you found that? Like, they're quite, but cats have an immunity to them.
Cats?
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
That's wild. Wonder how that works. Why don't we study cats to figure out how to not get poisoned by those things then?
Don't know.
It's the 9 lives.
Yeah. The first 8 bites, they're fine. That 9th one, it gets a little sketchy.
But the scariest, and it's not really that scary when I think about it. It was just I was afraid for my dog. My Roddy at the time, we were out walking and she had come across a kangaroo and it bounced into the water and she went in after it and I was like, you had to run in too and go, nah, I'm not having this.
No.
Grab my dog. Yeah.
Oh Lord. See you out there having a fist fight with a kangaroo, just
I
juking and jiving.
That would be
you just got to yell at them. You just got to yell at them but they aren't as friendly in the wild. They're only really friendly if they have a lot to do with humans, like good interactions. And we've got 2 types. So we've got the blue ones, they're the grey ones, but they're called blue, and the red ones. And one is bigger than the other, like massively so. And I think it's the red ones, and they look like they're on steroids. They're the ones you see in the photos, but they're huge and they look like they've been working out. You know, they've just done 6 months in the penitentiary.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they look like they've been hitting the yard.
Our zoo has a kangaroo exhibit where you can actually walk through their exhibit, and they say that, you know, if the kangaroo is on the sidewalk laying down or whatever, you can pet the kangaroo, but they want you to stay on the walkway. You can't go like out. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, so years and years and when I was little, my grandparents had a property. Like you heard stories all the time from people like, don't go near the kangaroos. So my mum always talked about the dog just disappeared one day, and she said it was because the kangaroo had come up to it and it had put its top paws through the kangaroo's stomach and then bounced back on its tail and put its feet up and yeah.
Ow.
So
damn.
We're taught from a very early age to be very respectful of the animals here.
Yeah.
Like we have the worst snake in the world.
Yeah.
The brown snake. There was a lady in Queensland just recently that it crawled into her bed and bit her.
Oh.
No, thank you.
No.
But I would prefer a snake over a spider because at least you can sort of see where they are. We had a snake when my older kids were really little, so again 20 years ago, and it just crawled up the toilet. Came out, crawled up the pipes and came out of the toilet.
Does that happen a lot over there?
The kids don't go in there.
I'm cool with snakes. I grew up, my parents, you know, they used to breed snakes and everything. So I was 9 years old and I want to say it was a reticulated boa that I held, and it was about 6 or so feet. And this man that had the snake also had a cobra. And I remember, oh my gosh, like insane. But just, it's incredible. But he had a 50 to 55 gallon tank in his living room that had rattlesnakes in it. And I'm talking like 20, 30 rattlesnakes. And
no, you're making my skin crawl.
It's like
nobody keeps dangerous animals as pets here. Like That's
Yeah.
to me, what you've just said is crazy. And I
Oh,
mean, you guys have mountain lions and stuff. I mean, we've got nothing compared to that.
yeah. Like I love reptiles. I do not do spiders. That's like my given. You will probably see me lose all shade of color when it comes to spiders. But snakes, like if I see them, it's like, okay, whatever. I can see it. But
Yeah, I'm the same.
I always was raised that, if you don't know what it is, don't mess with it,
Mhm.
because you never know, Um,
It's like that in Australia. If you don't know what it is, don't mess with it. If you do know what it is, definitely
Don't
stay
mess
away.
with it. Yeah, at
oh
least leave it
man,
alone.
Definitely just leave it
I
alone.
grew up and I was picking up little green grass snakes and stuff, and me and a neighborhood friend would chase his brother into the bathroom with the snake, and yeah, it was great.
Well,
That's
like
crazy.
here, our
So the
thing that
snakes will chase you here too. That's the other thing you got to worry about. I remember a boy ran into school one day and he's like, "The snake's chasing me." And we're like, "What?" And then this snake just comes crawling through the school. And we're like, "Oh,
It
oh
really
boy,
was. Yeah.
yeah, I
that's
ain't
what
having no part of
happened."
that. I'd look like the Road Runner in the Bugs Bunny cartoon. Just meet me.
See, a couple
I
years
am
ago,
gone.
we had
I did grow up in the bush though. Like I grew up in a really small town, northwestern New South Wales called Burke.
Mm.
So
Yep.
I mean, all that stuff, all the kangaroos, some wallabies, snakes, they're all really normal out there. And we used to get big huntsmen, like that big,
Oof.
but not, but funnel webs, they're more coastal. So we didn't get stuff like that. We didn't get the dangerous ones, but we got the red-bellied black snake, which is really bad, and the brown snakes, which is really bad. And we just knew, just don't go near them and don't trudge through the long grass because that's idiotic. I mean, you also got cottonmouths
Yeah.
and like all sorts of
hmm
horrific animals.
Yes, but
my
you just
husband and
made me.
we were on a trail one day, I think last year, and we came across, I think it was a cottonmouth or a water moccasin.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
One of the two. I don't remember what it was.
it's just as bad.
But a couple years ago, we had me and a friend of mine and my aunt, we were getting ready to leave because we were gonna go have a girls' weekend, and there was a 6-foot rat snake, which is completely harmless.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not even 5 foot tall, okay? And this thing was gigantic, okay? And
Wow.
it was huge. So yeah, I had somebody come and rehome it because I didn't want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and it be dark and then me step on it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
See that? Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one of the big things around here, especially if you go out further east where the Smoky Mountains are black bears.
I was going to
And
say, you guys have got bears and you're worried about like our animals?
well,
Yeah.
now the black bear is not necessarily known as an aggressive bear, like where a grizzly will hunt you down just because it wants to, it's that kind of a thing. Where the black bear, the ones that you want to watch for are the mother when she's just had her cubs.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were
Yes.
we were up in the
Right.
mountains last May, and so we took a trip around the loop through Cades Cove and all that around the mountains. And sure enough, here's a mama bear and like 3 cubs way up ahead of us crossing the road. And there are people getting out of their cars with their phones and they're following them. And we're just like, you don't want to do that. That mama takes a notion and feels threatened. She's going to get you. But
Yeah.
these are usually the people that don't live here or have never really lived around, wilderness and things of that sort. Because I've had a friend of mine, Richard, he was a police officer out that way. And he had friends that were like park rangers and stuff. And he has told me that those rangers at times have had people from like New York or wherever will come up to them and ask them, what time do you guys let the bears out?
What?
Like they keep them in a pen somewhere. Like they're just like they're an attraction. We got to let them out at 9 o'clock and we put them back up at 6 o'clock. It's like, it doesn't work that way.
Oh my
But
goodness.
just
My
then,
gosh.
and so, yeah, a lot of times those are going to be the people most likely to get eaten by a bear.
Yeah. And
Where
I've
those
heard
of
some
us,
of those stories. They're crazy.
It's insane. It is absolutely insane what some people are just so ignorant of. It's like if I were coming to Australia, I'm calling you. I'm calling Gary Traherne, who we had him on. My friend Lee Edwards. We used to do an outdoorsman show together, and we interviewed him. And it's just like I would want to know. Tell me, this is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to be staying. This is where we're going to go. What do I need to put on the watch out for list? Like I'm not taking any chances. It's just not happening.
Doc would probably back me up on this. If you ever go to the Northern Territory, don't go swimming in any waterhole.
No.
At all.
No.
At all. And they just had a news report like a couple of days ago where they said our croc population is out of control at the minute. They're not even sure exactly how many we have. And
Wow.
the elders and stuff up there are calling for them to cull. And of course, they're a protected species in Queensland, for instance. So definitely if you're in the Northern Territory or the top end of Queensland, don't go swimming in any water holes.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if they're saltwater or freshies.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all.
Because I had freshies actually take a bite out of my hair once. This long blonde hair is back on the water, behind me. It's down to the, to my waist. And it came up and it just went whoop into the hair thinking it was something edible. And so I had this lovely huge divot in my hair. It was like, whoa.
Scary. I do have to say, we've got two very interesting animals here that I find very fascinating. One is the wombat. You don't want to hit it. They're incredibly solid. They will wreck a car. But
I want a wombat.
But their poop is square.
What?
Yeah, their poop is square. I'm not even kidding. You can look that up.
I am. This I have to see.
And they burrow under. So if you have them on your land, that's not a good thing because definitely the integrity of your structure, your property is a concern because they'll burrow right underneath. Yeah. And
That's
the
crazy.
other one that I really find interesting is the platypus. We have. You don't go near them, for instance, because they have some sort of poison in their talon things.
Well, hot dog.
They
thought they
are
were
a
just cute,
mammal.
weird ducks.
They are a mammal and they have eggs.
Yeah.
They lay eggs. Yeah.
Frickin' Australia.
See, my daughter is very obsessed with koala bears, and
don't pick them up. They have chlamydia.
Oh Lord. Oh God, they got STDs down there too on their animals.
You've got one other very rare species there, but I think we talked about it.
What are y'all doing to your animals?
The drop bears.
Oh my God.
The which ones?
Yeah.
The drop bears.
Drop bears.
And you've got to beware of them because they could be quite fatal if they drop.
I don't think you're selling it, with that laughter.
no.
I know, because every time I tell anybody about drop bears, I can't help but laugh about it.
What is a drop bear? I'm serious.
This is going to be so good when they finally get around to it.
Yeah, right.
I know it is.
I'm definitely not going to Australia.
It's just what we call a koala.
Yeah.
Do they just fall out of the trees at random and land on people for no apparent reason?
Sometimes, actually.
Sometimes that's why we call them drop bears.
Hey, Jack, it's real. It's a real thing.
Ow.
I love it. That's just hilarious. The stuff we learn on this show, guys, it's
educational.
It's unbelievable. It is. It's educational. It's informative, and it's sometimes horrifying.
So,
Entertainment.
my mom is on, and she wants to know. She says, "Wow, poor little koala bears. Are they treated?"
For the chlamydia, yes, it's a major program for it.
Yeah. But
Well, there we go.
Yeah, but that's just in the wild. So don't just. A lot of people, and they're not called koala bears. They're just called koalas.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is it free treatment? Because Jack, you can go over there and dress up like a
And
panda or whatever koala.
Just for future reference, there are only 2 places in Australia that you can go, and you are allowed to handle the koalas.
Oh,
One is
wow.
in,
Well, real quick to respond to Anthony, this is the latest we've ever made it into the show without this.
Yeah.
Here you go.
um,
Goes.
Queensland has a place where you can handle them, and South Australia has a place. I think it's in Adelaide from memory. I've never been to either, so I can't really give you a proper answer. You just have to look it up. But there's only 2 places in Australia that you can go and handle koalas legally. Legally. I'm just going to put that out there.
So legally in Tennessee, I can own a giraffe without a permit.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
in Colorado. They won't let you.
What?
And then
You
and
have
then
emus and ostriches.
and in Tennessee, you can also own legally without a permit a otter.
Otter. Wow.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, we're country as cornbread out here. We
But-
pretty much, if you think
but
you
can we
can
just-
domesticate it, go for it.
But seriously, can we just talk about the giraffe?
The
Like,
giraffe, it's like, what are you going to do to
do you
feed that damn thing?
imagine like where I live at? Because I have like a lot of wooded area and it like literally go down a slope, and then all of a sudden you just see this like little giraffe head poke up out of the trees.
Bill.
And she says it's like a little drop off behind her house. No, it is a sheer cliff straight to your death. Like it just goes
I
down.
mean, you can really have
Wow.
giraffes.
Yeah.
That is insane. We can't do any of that
Is it?
over here.
Yeah, there's places south of here where they have emu farms where they get like
Emu.
the emu oil and all that. And you can go down there and ride them or pet them or whatever, you know, like
Yeah. So it's not emu, it's
Mhm.
emu.
emu.
Yeah.
All right, see, the
Just to
education
restate
continues.
what he said, he's country as cornbread.
Shit, we make up words around here. We ain't playing.
I was going
No,
to say,
you don't, Jack.
Aurora, there's a place in WA where you can do it in Perth.
As well. Okay.
Yeah,
righto.
Kahuna. Kahuna.
Oh, there you go. So there's 3 places then.
All
They're
right.
the 2 main ones that they talk about. It. One's in Queensland, which I didn't know until about 18 months ago.
Well, and there's 2 and there's one in Adelaide, Cleland. I've been there many decades ago. Well, probably 20 years ago.
Oh, so when you were like
and
5.
Ward Wildlife. So there are 2
Yeah,
down there, and then there's an infinite number up in Queensland. There's like
Oh yeah, but
7 or 8 places, you know.
sorry, but Queensland and South Australia, and now you're saying West.
Yeah.
Where'd you say Western Australia, Northern Territory?
Yeah, there's one in Western Australia now.
Hold on.
It's
Uh-oh.
Kahuna Koala Park in Perth.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely sold on not going to Australia for my own safety.
No.
Just sounds so
Yeah,
deadly.
and
But of course,
there's-
now our buddy Lee Edwards is supposed to be going to Australia at some point to go on a hunting trip, which makes me think of the other animal that we have failed to mention that could also freaking kill you horribly, because one of our guests on Adaptive World actually had a buffalo get him. Like he had done shot this thing repeatedly, comes over a ridge, and it's just standing there looking back at him like, oh, my turn now. He turns to run. And on this episode that we did, I learned that a water buffalo can get up to 30, well, for us, 30 miles per hour. Do your
So 70
translation over, like
70
flying. And
That's fast.
so he says he looks back and this thing just goes under him and scoops him. Part of its horn went through his thigh, like through it, and just tossed him up in the air like a rag doll.
Wow.
He hit the ground, and at that point, it started taking its horns and grinding him into the ground. And, you know, so you would think it, you know, if you're in this guy's situation, you're just like, I'm done. You know, this is the end of the road. He said, just all of a sudden, without warning, the buffalo just fell over, totally dead.
Damn.
Yeah, that
That's
was a
crazy.
wild story, man. Like he thought, I mean, he shot the thing repeatedly and it still wouldn't go down.
Wow.
Have you ever like met up with any big water buffs out that way?
No, so they're not where I am. They're
Mhm.
generally something that is up the top end.
Top end, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
way
that's not-
way north on the top end. I mean, they wouldn't be in
very
the desert
north.
part.
No, they're definitely way north. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
where he lives, what you call it, crocodiles or something he has to watch out for, the buffalo or
Northern
something he has to watch out
Territory.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he's up, yeah, by
yeah,
Darwin or
yeah. He's
Yeah.
out in the middle of
He's
Lowe
up the
or
top
nowhere.
something
end.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's up the top end for sure.
But yeah, he's shown like videos of him like going outside, just showing his property, and you could tell I keep waiting for like an Aborigine to go running by, like he's in the middle of nowhere. So I just couldn't imagine. Scared.
Yeah, that's scary as hell.
All right, guys, would you believe it? We have reached the end of the hour.
Yeah, we
Wow.
have.
It flew
Yeah.
by, man. This was fun. You were so much fun to talk to. We're definitely going to have you back on again. I mean, seriously, because there's so much more so much more we can get into, so much more we can talk about. But this is how we like the show to be. You know, it's like you're just a new friend added to our group of friends, and we're just sitting around at the bar having a pint.
Yeah,
And, just talking things up. So it was absolutely a blast having you on today. And as I always do, we go around the room. Ladies first, Kristen Vincent, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and you can find me here every Saturday at 1.
Very cool, very cool. All right, Doc, if anybody needs some editing done, how can they track you down?
They can find me on Facebook under Doc Freed, all lowercase, or at doc@aboarts.com. And I'm around. In fact, I'm just starting to edit another book right now. So
staying busy. That's what we like to hear. All right, Mr. Angel Ramon, where can everybody find you, my liege?
You can find me here every Saturday with these magnificent bastards that I love so much. You can find me on the Written Undead, the Book Asylum podcast group, Written Horrors. You can find me on Facebook, Amazon. Just type in Angel Ramon on Amazon, or Anxious Maximus for my historical fiction stuff. Right now, I'm working on Pina Canadas and Rats 4, editing it, and kind of getting pressured to finish the edits because it's coming out on March the 1st, and I'm still stuck on the second edit task. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And 51 people have already pre-ordered it, so I kind of got to get my, in gear. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, you'll be getting the book soon. And I just put the link so you can check out the book if you wish.
Fantastic. All right, Bad Wabbit. Let everybody know what's up with you, bro.
So you can find me on dmwcomics.com or DMW Comics on Facebook. You can also find Bad Wabbit #1 called Friends on Amazon. You can get the digital and physical copy. It is a great start to an amazing adventure. And I have many, many more coming. Kickstarter, the second Kickstarter is actually under works right now. It should be at the late. If it doesn't come out if we don't launch by March, then I probably died or I'm living in a box under a bridge or something. But it's definitely getting worked on. And yeah, so definitely go check it out if you haven't already. I know Jack has done some beta reading of my next 3 scripts. I just sent you number 4 yesterday. I don't know if you got to it.
Not yet. That's after the show.
Yeah, I'm just starting writing book 5, and everybody that's beta read it said it's amazing, and once it's actually drawn, it'll even be better. So yeah, check it out. Bad Wabbit, Amazon, bam.
Go get it.
Comics.com.
And I still think the funniest thing about the whole Bad Wabbit thing is, it's going to be like, I don't know, 7 or 8 comics. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, Jack, it's going to be a little more than that. Go for it.
Yeah, I did a synopsis of each comic book that I plan on doing just to get to the end of the the story that I had planned, and it turned out to be like 1920
yeah.
So
yeah, a little more than he had planned. All right, well, because they always give me crap if I don't do it, so I'll do it because I guess I should do it because it is for Angry Eagle Publishing, which we are a division of. That lovely magazine, Word Peddler, that you can find on Amazon. The summer edition has my short story, Domino, which is kind of a crossed off based half on my cat and half on the hairless chihuahua that we have. So it's a hairless cat with some extraordinary gifts. And it's kind of a cryptid thing. So, and hopefully here real soon, once I'm all the way back, I can go on the Psychotoxin Press, we call it open mic, and read some of it, or maybe all of it. It's not really that long. So you can find that on Amazon. So go check that out. All righty, Miss Aurora. Thank you again for coming on today. You were a blast. You were a hoot. You were horrifying, for Pete's sake. You could write stories just off the crazy monsters you have running around out there.
I'm saying.
Sheesh. Well, let everybody know where they can. Well, let everybody know where they can find you. And we do look forward to finally being able to get physical paperbacks in our hands, because we do like those. And the wall will be bugging me until it gets its next soul. That's just how it goes.
Same with my bookshelf. Like, it literally goes to the ceiling.
Wow.
And to the floor.
Yeah.
So
like the song.
Yeah.
So get the word out. Where can everybody find you?
So I'm not really that big on I'm not good at doing social media, but I do have an Instagram account and I do post there quite frequently. I am on Amazon, obviously. Just go and look at my author profile. And I do have a newsletter, which I do send out about every 4 weeks. So I can drop a link. You will get, not a romance book, actually. You will get a cookbooklet of what I make at Christmas.
Awesome.
Oh, nice. Yes,
Something
definitely put that
different.
link in the comments. Heck
Something
yeah.
different. But I will
fact,
add that afterwards. So
in fact, put that in the comments, and also go to the Book Asylum podcast page and put it right there. You know, that way even more people can see it and we can share it, you know, get it out there to more people. So
no worries. No worries.
awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, definitely going to have to do this again. I mean, this was fun. This was a whole lot of fun, man. Like I said, I almost set this one out because, you know, as Chris knows, I haven't felt so great lately, but I couldn't miss this one. I mean, anytime I get a chance to talk to an author that's literally across the pond, and in your case, across the pond, across the ocean, almost in outer space, got aliens running around, it's like, I can't miss this one. I can't. I got to be on this one.
Yeah.
So, for Kristen Vincent, Anthony Badwabbit Castro, Angel Ramon, Doc Freed, Aurora Kelly, I'm Jack Childress. This has been the Book Asylum Podcast. We will see you guys next week. Peace out.
Bye.